ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So the 12th chapter we saw begins with the question of Arjun, where he asks Bhagwan that evam satata yuktaye, evam, in this way, those who are constantly worshipping you. So evam means what? Like we saw in the 11th chapter, 55th verse, Bhagavan said, na, mat karma krit, mat paramaha, mat bhaktaha, sanga varjitaha, nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. Having cultivated these 5 qualities, one who worships me, in the sense, one who worships Bhagavan, worships you. Arjuna is asking Bhagavan, one who worships you, in the sense also that worshipping the form of the Lord. There the word mat karma krit, mat paramaha, mat bhaktaha is one indication of the form of Bhagavan, where somebody has an Ishta Devata and one serves the Lord wholeheartedly, loves the Lord wholeheartedly, seeks the identity with the Lord wholeheartedly, has dropped all attachments, has no enmity towards anybody. So if in that way somebody is worshipping a form, evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate, and evam satata yuktaye also means in this way, because 11th chapter got over. So there are some bhaktas who worship the Vishwarupa Bhagavan, Virat Rupa Bhagavan. They visualize. When we imagine one form of Bhagavan. There are some bhaktas who will actually visualize the Virat Rupa Bhagavan. Vishwarup, they both are one only in that sense, but specifically 11th chapter speaks about Vishwarup. The whole universe, past, present, future, everything in one place. So Evam can mean that also. One who is worshipping Bhagavan in that specific cosmic form. And third, one who is worshipping Bhagavan as this entire universe. So 3 forms. So when we say form in Sanatan Dharma, we don't think only one form of one particular Devata or one particular form of Bhagavan. Form can mean all the 3 or any one of the 3. Sometimes one worships Krishna Bhagavan only as Krishna Bhagavan. Sometimes one worships Krishna Bhagavan in the Vishwarup, cosmic form. Sometimes one worships Krishna Bhagavan as all these. The whole Srishti is Krishna Bhagavan only. Sarvam Krishnamayam. All the 3 are forms. Whichever way this devotee is worshipping, evam satata yuktaye bhaktaha, and this is the plurality in our Sanatan Dharma, the diversity in our Sanatan Dharma, where so many different bhaktas of different temperaments can worship Bhagavan in different ways. in the form itself. One form, cosmic form, and this whole universe as the form of Bhagavan. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. They are continuously worshipping you to be one with you. Now, who is a bhakta? One who has bhakti in one's heart, who has devoted oneself to the Lord, who has surrendered to Bhagavan, who has directed the love in one's heart towards Bhagavan, and hence he loves everybody else also as expressions of Bhagavan. That bhakta pariupasate. So, what is upasana? Upasana means when one is literally, upasana means sitting close, upa and asana. But upasana or worship, see, we generally say, oh, worship, ritualistic, puja part type, you know, doing the going to temple, doing the arati, ringing the bell, eating the prasad. But upasana is a very powerful tool to harness all the emotions, to make the mind single pointed, and to inculcate the ideals. Very, very powerful sadhana. Literally, the word upasana means sitting close. Just 1 minute, there's quite a bit of disturbance. So, one meaning of the word upasana is sit close to Bhagavan. It can be sit close to any ideal. Rashtra upasana, when we say, then I have surrendered myself to my country and I worship. In the sense, I am devoted to my country, I serve my country, I love my country, I want to know more about my country. Rashtra upasana. So, upasana, one meaning is sit close by. But the deeper meaning of upasana, the siddhanta of upasana is nikrishta vastuni utkrishta buddhihi. In something which is ordinary, what is extraordinary is superimposed. Nikrishta vastuni utkrishta buddhi. The piece of cloth, we say, is a flag. Flag is only a piece of cloth or a piece of paper. But for us, it is not that. When we love our country, for us, that is the symbol of our country, and the honor of the flag is the honor of the country, and the honor of the country is very dear to us, and that cannot be compromised. So the person has that bhav. Upasana is bhavana pradhan. We should always remember that. There, don't try to apply in the sense the nitty-gritties of logic. Logic also can be combined with feeling. There's nothing wrong with that, and that is good. But it should not be logic bereft of bhavana. Because if somebody says, oh, what is this piece of flag? And you are putting it in one rod, and then you are waving it like this. And then for that flag, you will go and die. What is the use? Now, if somebody talks like that, they have not understood the bhav behind it. Yes, logically, it is a piece of cloth, and there's a rod, and then one is holding that and moving around, and one doesn't want the honor of that flag to be, damaged in some ways. So, if required, one will die for it. To somebody who is looking at it without any feeling, it feels, what stupidity is this? For a piece of cloth, he died. That is because that logic is bereft of bhavana and he doesn't understand the feeling part of it. Same way, if somebody says, oh, the Hindus are Murti Pujaks, yeah, they worship idols. There is no God in that. And there are enough people who will say all that. God is not in the temple. God is in the hearts of all the people. No need to go to the temple. Why is it that God is not in the temple? If God is all pervasive, God is in the temple also. God is not in the temple only. God is in the temple as well as God is in the hearts of all. Chara and achara, everywhere. Chinmayam vyapyat sarvam trilokyam sacharacharam. Chinmayam means consciousness. Consciousness pervades everything. Moving, not moving, everything. If we say Bhagavan is sarva vyapi, Prahlad didn't say that God is not in the pillar. When Hiranyakashipu asked him, Prahlad without blinking an eye said, yes, God is in pillar also. Narayana is in the pillar also. So a bhakta will not say that, this murti. We are not murti pujaks at all. If we were murti pujak, every murti in the shop we would have worshipped. We don't worship every murti in the shop. Bhagwan's murti, I am saying. Just some days back, now Navratri has ended. So many places the puja of mother will happen, Devi will happen, Mother Kali, and massive, the murti is there, and 18 hands, and Trishul, and this Mahishasur is there, and full murti. One will not worship that murti just like that. Prana is invoked first. Now that murti is alive. So we are worshipping that Devi, not the murti by itself. Bhagavan is all pervasive, there is no doubt. But in the form of existence, consciousness is all pervasive. But in the form of life and response as consciousness expressing through equipment, that is when we have invoked Prana Shakti, that Chaitanya Swarup Shakti, there then we start worshipping. So we are worshippers of Devi, we are worshippers of Deva, we are not worshippers of mere Murti. So if people say, ye to Murti Pujak hai. No, we are not worshipping Murti, we are worshipping Bhagwan. So those people who understand that the Siddhanta of Upasana is for the Bhakta, the Murti is not Murti, it's not stone, it's not metal. It is Bhagwan who is sitting there. With that bhav one does, and that's why even in a puja, where in a mandir where we don't do pran pratishtha, where we do pratishtha, pran pratishtha is done, there Bhagwan is there living. So Bhagwan is woken up at a point in time, given bath, given the clothes, given the food, put to sleep, arti is done, all that happens time to time. In one's own home, if pran pratishtha is not done, wherever one is worshipping Bhagwan, there if a Shodashopchar, Puja, etc. we do, first we will invoke prana. Dhyan we will do in our heart, invoke Bhagavan in our heart, and then from heart we invoke in the Murti. Then worship Bhagavan, and then again re-establish Bhagavan back in the Murti. So Upasana is Bhavana Pradhan. So the Bhav has to be there. That I am here, sitting here to worship Bhagavan. And that's why on something which is ordinary, by itself, if you see it is stone, it is metal, it is any other, wood. But for the bhakta, it is not that. For the bhakta, the bhavana is important. And so the purification of the mind happens because of that feeling. Swamiji, can I not invoke that feeling without any support outside? Of course you can, which is what our culture is saying. Initially, the form is outside and we worship outside. Bahya puja happens. As we keep doing that, our mind becomes so tuned and the form is imprinted on the mind. Then I can sit quietly and visualize the entire form in my mind and feel that Bhagwan is there and do the entire puja in the mind. That is Manasa puja. That is much more powerful than the external puja, gives much more punya than external puja. So Upasana is very beautiful method of connecting with Bhagwan, who is infinite, who is all pervasive, and Bhakta also knows that. But that same infinite consciousness, one is worshipping through one form. Initially externally, then in the mind, where one feels Bhagwan is in my heart all the time with me. So Upasana is Bhavana Pradhan. It will purify our mind. It will make the mind single pointed. That is the Siddhanta of Upasana. And which is why one should choose one form, one name for the daily sadhana. Every day, if I am worshipping a different form, different mantra, and I am chanting more than 3, 4 mantras together, that is, it has its impact. There's nothing wrong about it. But that much time, if I choose to do one, I will go very deep. Hence, Upasana is a very powerful method of purifying the mind, making the mind single pointed, building a relationship, channelizing the emotions, and communicate with Bhagwan. Bhagwan is not some abstract truth somewhere far away or some nameless, formless, attributeless truth which we find difficult to connect. No, no. One can build a relationship and communicate, and Bhagwan will reply also. So that is the Siddhanta of Upasana. That's why he says here, Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhaktastvam Paryupasate. It will burn away our negativities. It will prepare the mind for deeper meditations, contemplation on the self, etc. It will prepare. And most importantly, whatever that form of Bhagwan represents, all those ideals and values we will internalize. That's the beauty of Upasana. What nowadays psychology and others say, as you think, so you become. This is the Siddhant given in our Upanishads and Vedas long back. What is our altar of surrender? The ideals that they represent, we will imbibe all of them. Like Bhagwan Ram stands for dharma, for doing the duties, for active resistance to evil, for sacrifice, for putting nation above self. All those qualities we will internalize. Same way, if we say Durga Devi, she represents Shakti, power, creation, sustenance, destruction happens by her grace. And she is the one who kills this Mahishasur. So any evil tendencies, ego, etc., one destroys. Yet she is most kind, compassionate, she is the mother. So those qualities we invoke and then we imbibe in ourselves. When we sing the stutis, when we remember the form of Bhagavan, when we remember the Leela of Bhagavan, all those. So worship of the form is very beautiful. If we go deeper into it, how do we worship this upasana when it is said evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasate? So first we should choose one form of Bhagavan, Rupa. Build one relationship with that Bhagavan's form. Ramakrishna chose Mother Kali and he built the relationship of a child with the mother. Krishna Bhagavan's friend is Sudama. So he has a Sakha Bhav. Lover is Mirabai. So she built a relationship of lover and beloved. Now like that if you see, Bhakta, so Prahlad ji has a bhav, I am the Bhakta and he is Bhagavan. It can also be Sevak and Swami. So Hanuman ji has Sevak bhav and Bhagavan is my Swami. Whichever form, whichever relationship you like, so choose one form, build a relationship with that form. Nama. Then take the name. So Rupa, then Nam. Take the name. One name you choose as the mantra which one will chant. Then what are the guna? What are the qualities of that Lord which you admire? Remember those on a daily basis before we start the japa. So that bhavana will also come and those qualities we will internalize. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya. What are the actions I can do for Bhagavan? On a daily basis, what is the Kriya that I do? Do I give, like Shivji likes Abhishek, so do I do Abhishek for Bhagwan Shiva? Vishnu Bhagwan likes Alankar, Krishna Bhagwan likes Makhan Mishri. Like that, whatever they like, I offer them. So Kriya, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya. What are the Leelas of Bhagwan? I imagine those Leelas, I visualize, not imagine, visualize those Leelas. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, Leela. Then Sambandh, what is my relationship? That we saw. Then also the Dham, which place does Bhagwan live? Where is the abode of Bhagwan? Where to contact him? So the scriptures give Vaikuntha Loka is where Vishnu Bhagwan is, Kailasa is where Shivji is, Swananda Loka is where Ganeshji is. Like that, each of them have their own locus, the abode, Dham, where they stay. And Swarupa, what is the essential nature of that Lord? Is consciousness, Satchidananda Swarupa. These 8 things I should know: Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, Leela, Sambandh, Dham, Swarup. If this much I know about my Ishtadevata, and from where will I know this? I have to read the scriptures connected to that form. If it is Hanumanji, read Hanuman Chalisa, Sankat Mochan, read various Valmiki Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana, various other versions of Ramayana. Find out more about Hanumanji. Like that, Shiv Puran for Shivji, Devi Bhagavatam for Devi, our for Krishna Bhagwan. Again, Bhagavatam one can read. For Vishnu Bhagwan, Vishnu Puran. Like that, for different forms, Ganeshji, you have Ganesh Puran, Mudgal Puran. So different Puranas are there. I should find out who is my Ishta, about them I should find out and I should read. Then my Upasana will have strength of knowledge and of bhavana. And then I will sit to do the puja or japa or whatever, stotram, bhajan, kirtan. My mind will abide there. If both these are not there, I don't have knowledge about my Ishtadevata, I don't have bhavana for the Ishtadevata, I am doing it because I want some material benefit. Somebody told me, ye karo to ye mil jayega. So I started doing, but then the mind starts wandering. So bhavana, feeling as well as knowledge, they must come together. Head and heart must come together. That is called upasana. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. And paryupasate means what? They don't do upasana. Okay, one day, today I did puja. Very nice, 1 hour puja I did. Next 10 days, no puja. After that, another day, 2 hours puja. Next 1 week, no puja. No, paryupasate, continuously. Day after day after day. See how Shabari did. Na? Every day she will prepare the whole ashram, clean it and pluck the fruits and make the asan and fill the water and keep it ready and wait for Bhagwan that today Bhagwan will come. But Bhagwan doesn't come. Again next day she does the same thing. In that way, if you see, each of us is Shabari. Are we not waiting for Bhagwan? Every day get up in the morning, get ready, take bath, do the puja, wait for Bhagwan. Today Bhagwan will come. We invoke Bhagwan and we worship there, so we feel Bhagwan is there, there's no doubt. But one waits, no, when will Bhagwan give darshan? I want darshan of Bhagwan. So that bhav, that is important. Day after day after day. Sometimes one feels dejected, why is Bhagwan not giving darshan? Arey, Bhagwan is waiting to give darshan to us more than anyone else. But our negativities are such that they don't allow that to happen. Bhagwan otherwise in the heart right now. And when he wants, he will give. So Bhakta works in that surrender. Day after day after day, without losing enthusiasm. Like Shabari, we have to learn. Do the sadhana with bhavana, with jnana, and leave the result to Bhagwan. Please remember one thing, Bhagwan doesn't come as a result of all this effort. He's not a product of our sadhana. He comes by his will. If we understand that, we love Bhagwan and we will keep doing sadhana. Whenever Bhagwan wants to give darshan, he will give it. Unki marzi. With that feeling, we keep doing sadhana. Now, this is called upasana. Now, this way of worship of a particular form or the cosmic form or the whole universe or a combination, when all this one has done, Arjuna is asking such devotee is one category. And ye chapi aksharam avyaktam. And then there are those who are worshipping the formless, who are not believing in a particular form, but they contemplate on the pointers of the absolute truth. They contemplate on this nirgun nirakar tattva. That's why he says aksharam avyaktam. Akshara is imperishable. Form is perishable. Even when Bhagwan takes a particular form and he takes avatar, at some point he has to drop the form and he goes, no? Even if he gives darshan to a bhakta, that darshan also will be for some time. Then Bhagwan disappears. So form has its own limitations. But it is a very important step because most of the time our mind thinks only in terms of pictures. Anything one says, a picture will be formed first. We can't think without picture. Some people whose mind is very subtle, has got purified, are able to contemplate on the formless without any picture coming in the mind and without the mind getting distracted by some other forms and pictures in the world. Such devotees, Bhagavan Arjuna asks, ye chapi aksharam, who worship the imperishable consciousness. And where is that? Avyaktam. Form is vyakta. This is avyakta. Now, think about it. One is vyakta, form, manifest. Formless is everywhere, yet no form. Unmanifest. Why unmanifest? Because we can't see it having a specific form. It is not manifest in a particular way. It is all pervasive. Like space is everywhere. The space doesn't have a form. If we make a pot, then the pot is in space, inside the pot is space, outside the pot is space, space is everywhere. We can't see space, but we can see the pot. Same way, pot is manifest, space is unmanifest. Same way, Bhagavan can take form and is manifest. And Bhagavan is also unmanifest absolute truth. So some people worship Bhagavan as consciousness. Ye chapi aksharam avyaktam. Unmanifest, if one thinks I am the body, then consciousness is unmanifest. If one says I am not the body, I am consciousness, then I am that consciousness. One experiences that. That is a jnani. Here, there is a devotee who is trying to realize this oneness using the pointers. So the compositions like Nirvana Shatkam, Mano, Buddhi, Hankara, Chittani, Naham. I am not the mind and intellect, memory, ego. I am not the five elements, I am not the five senses. Then who am I? Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Now they contemplate on that. That I am consciousness, where I does not mean the body, mind, intellect. I is the infinite consciousness. I am that, I am not this. Now this is steady contemplation. There also bhakti is required. Guru bhakti, Shastra bhakti, and this intense desire to know who am I, that is also bhakti. So if somebody thinks that, oh, bhakti is not required in Jnana Marg, that is stupidity. Last time we discussed, so I won't go into the detail of that. All the paths require bhakti. Now these are two, Aksharam and Avyaktam, indicating pointers of the truth. One person is using form, qualities, name, all those 8 things I said. And one person is using only the Nirgun Nirakar Tattva. So there is no form, there are no qualities, there is no particular name. Oh, but Akshara Avyakta, that is not name, that is only pointer. If you remove all that which is perishable, what remains is imperishable. It is like that, pointer. Now, Arjun's question is, those who worship the form and those who worship the formless. These are two categories of devotees. He says, Tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Who are the best knowers of yoga? Meaning who have become one, who are the best, who have become one with you. In simple words, which is greater, form worship or formless worship? Bhakta who worships Sagun Sakar is greater or Bhakta who worships Nirgun Nirakar is greater? In general, we think formless worship is greater, and we feel also sometimes people in their ignorance they feel like that if I am worshipping formless I am superior to somebody worshipping form because they need support. I don't need support. My mind just can revel in Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I don't need form, I don't need flowers, I don't need arati plate, I don't need anything. My mind just can contemplate on Chidananda Rupa. No support it requires. If one thinks like that, that is ignorance only. Because even Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham is a support. External support is not there, but that way the Bhakta also is doing Manasik Puja. After external puja stops, one does Manasik Puja. Now this question is asked because that's a human tendency. Which is better, form worship, formless worship? Now Bhagwan's reply here is very beautiful. Bhagwan does not say which is greater because the fact is both are great and both will lead to the divine. Each one has to follow as per their temperament. If somebody says, which is greater? A boat is greater or an aeroplane is greater? The point is, what is the type of equipment you have? If I have a boat and there is water, I have to go by water. There I need to go by boat. Boat will not work on land. And where I need to use an aeroplane to go from one place to another, I need to go using that aeroplane. Depends on the equipment I have. Same way, some people have a lot of bhavana, feeling and emotions, and also the mind needs a support. They take the form. Some people have some vairagya and so the mind doesn't need a form. If that type of subtle equipment one has, then do the formless. Both will finally reach the same place. There's no point in comparing which is greater, which is lesser. And there's no point in having any inferiority or superiority. Oh, he's a formless worshipper. I am worshipping only form. No point in feeling lesser. Unfortunately, in the Abrahamic religions, they brought in all this, and now we are falling victims to it. They wanted to impose a certain ideology, so they started destroying murtis. Not understanding that human mind needs a support system. Without that, the mind will not become quiet. And wherever they've tried to remove murtis, there something else has taken its place. You see, very clearly you see. Buddha said no form, no religion, no form and no Veda, all that. no guru. Now what happened? The biggest murtis in the whole world are, so many of them are Buddha's murti only. Buddha himself has become the form for them. Think, some place they destroy the murti and they sit in a direction and then they put the picture of their religious place. They need something not to hold on to. So when we understand that very clearly, that form is required for the majority, very few can do formless. We don't condemn anybody. Form you use, very good. Formless you use, very good. No problem. Our Sanatan Dharma doesn't have any conflict. Some people have conflict and they Murti Pujak, and then you destroy Murti. And then they want to create. In the same religion, they will create division. These are Murti Pujak, these are not Murti Pujaks. If you do the division based on temperament, it's okay. But people have done the division based on just superiority, inferiority. That is ignorance. So Bhagwan is very clear. Look at his answer now. In the second shloka, the answer he gives is so amazing. What does he say, you see? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshya Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayo Petaha Te Me Yukta Tamamataha. Bhagavan says, Te Me Yukta Tamamataha. In my opinion, these are the best knowers of yoga, means best in yoga. Means they are doing the best in sadhana to unite with me. What? If they have these three qualities, Mai Aveshya Mano Yemam, whose mind is fully absorbed in me. That me can mean form or formless. Mai Aveshya Mano Yemam. Then Nitya Yukta Upasate, with steadfastness they are worshipping me continuously. And Shraddhaya Paraya Upetaha, with supreme faith. If one has these three qualities, whichever path that person is following, that is the best. How nice. Beautiful answer Bhagavan has given. Suppose I am worshipper of, suppose I feel that, oh, I will only worship formless. I should identify, are these three happening or not? If I am using pointers of the formless truth, Nirgun, Nirakar, so pointers are what? Nityo, Nirguno, Nirvikaro, Niranjanaha, Nityamuktaha, all those are pointers. Aja, Avyaya, Avinashi, Avikari, like that. So many pointers are there. Now, when I think of Bhagavan using those pointers as consciousness, then is my mind abiding in that fully? My Avesha, Avesh, when it happens, that person forgets oneself. Like simple example, Krodha Avesh happens not to us. Anger overpowers us. When anger overpowers us, what happens? We forget who we are, we forget who is in front of us, we say anything that we don't even think about, and we become angry, violent, sometimes we even become physically abusive, because at that time there's only anger. Why is this happening? Krodh Avesh. Like that, Calm Avesh, when it happens, one can't control oneself. One will express that lust and passion anyhow. Where one does not have control, one forgets oneself also sometimes. Same way, Lobh Avesh, Moh Avesh, Bhoot Avesh, Pret Avesh. If some ghost, something has caught you and completely overpowered, then one forgets oneself. Now that is called Avesh. Wish means to enter. And wish doesn't mean poison in this, huh? That is Visha, Shanmukasha. This is wish. Shankar Kasha, wish to enter. Avesh means enter in a complete way. Mahyaveshya manoyemam. Meaning that person, that bhakta has forgotten oneself and only Bhagwan is there. Form or formless. Whichever one is using. So if I am worshipper of formless, is my mind fully absorbed in the formless truth and I have forgotten myself as the body, mind, intellect. That's the first criteria. Then Nitya Yukta Upasate, continuously I am able to use that same method and connect to the divine. Not that 1 or 2 days I do very nicely and then I third day I feel no, ये बहुत मुश्किल है, ये नहीं होने वाला है, and leave it. No, I do it regularly. Why? Because I am made for it. And of course, I can start small, grow big, all that. But I am made for that. That's my temperament. So I will do it. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Second point. And with supreme faith that this will lead me to that truth. This sadhana of the formless will lead me to the truth. With that supreme faith that Bhagwan is existing in this form, this sadhana will help me to purify my mind. It will make me realize the truth. I will be one with the Lord. That supreme faith one has. If one has these three in the formless, then one should do the formless upasana. Remember, what are the three? I should forget myself completely and only the mind is absorbed in that support, formless. I should be able to do that steadily every day. Now and then, sometimes the mind feels up and down that we again motivate it and make it do it. That's natural. But on overall, one is able to do that. It's formless contemplation. And with supreme faith, one sits and one does it. One doesn't become hopeless. पता नहीं इससे क्या होगा, nameless, formless, attributeless. Bhagwan does not even exist in these forms and consciousness hai. Does he even know that I'm doing this? What is the point of doing all this? That kind of doubting mind one has, or one is not having faith, one is hopeless. Then one is not made for formless. Same way, this three will apply for form also. When I sit to worship Bhagwan through the form, do I have these three? See, in the quantity, intensity may be less or more, but predominantly these three are there. By sadhana, it will increase. Like the absorption, let us say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, one is thinking of Shivji. Initially, one may not be able to absorb the mind fully. Sometimes the mind wanders here, there, all that. But over a period of time, one feels the bhav, one feels connecting, one feels so good when thinks of Shivji, and one is able to surrender and be there in that quiet state where one has forgotten oneself. Now that is Maya Veshya Manoyema. Bhagwan alone remains, Bhakta disappears. One will grow in that sadhana. Initially, maybe few seconds I forget myself and just be remembering Bhagwan alone. As we grow, it will increase, and more time one can remain in that state of surrender, quietude, where only name of Bhagwan one is thinking, nothing else, no distractions in the mind, no thought about I, nothing, only Bhagwan. Then Maya Veshya Manoyama. Akhandanand used to give one nice story. So, one farmer came to Akhandanand Maharaj, and this farmer said, he is a bhakta of Akhandanand. So, he came to Akhandanand and he said, Maharaj ji, I am not able to contemplate on Bhagwan. Whenever I think of Bhagwan, my mind starts wandering. So, Akhandanand said, where does your mind wander? He says, my bull, my mind is very attached to that bull, because that bull I have brought up from the time it was very young, and that bull is so helpful and he helps me in my farming and everything. And you know, I have built such a bond with this bull. Whenever I sit to think of Bhagwan, my mind goes to that bull. So Akhandanandji said, you don't worry. You think that Bhagwan has come in form of that bull and you worship Bhagwan through that bull. So he said, okay. Now he started meditating and Akhandanandji told him that you think that you are that you are that seeker in front of whom Bhagwan has manifested in the form of the bull, like how Bhagwan took Matsya avatar, Varaha avatar, and this Kurma avatar, like that. So many Bhagwan can come in any form. You think that Bhagwan came in the form of a bull. So okay, he went. Now many days happened. He didn't come back. So many months passed. So one day Maharaj, he is passing by that place and knocks the door. He saw that the bull was standing outside there. So he understood that the farmer is inside. He has not gone out yet with the bull for the farming. And the door was latched from inside. So he understood the farmer is inside. Knocking the door. No reply. After some time, again he knocked. No reply. Then he called out, Kaluram. The moment he said, Kaluram, दरवाजा खोलो, बाहर आओ. So he said, Kaluram is replying, महाराज मैं बाहर नहीं आ सकता. He said, why? क्यों? You know what Kaluram replied? He said, क्योंकि मेरा सर और मेरे सींग और मेरा जो शरीर इतना बड़ा है कि वो इस दरवाजे से बाहर नहीं आ सकता. So Maharaj said, कालूराम तुम तो पतले थे, क्या हुआ तुमको? He said, नहीं मैं तो अभी बैल हूं, मैं कैसे बाहर आऊंगा यहां से? Then Akhandanandji Maharaj, he understood कि oh, this man, he has done the upasana in such a way that at that moment when he is in that sadhana, he has fully identified with the bull that this is Bhagavan. And he feels I am one with that. So now he doesn't think I am this body. He is thinking I am this bull who is huge, big horns and all that. And then how will I come out of this door? That story. Don't get scared saying, "Arey bapre, it will happen like that to me. Then what will I do?" The idea here is that example Akhandanandji used to give to say that the identification of the devotee is so complete with the Lord that one feels I am that. Maya Vesha Mano Yema means that where that individual is not there, that Kaluram is not there, he is fully identifying. Of course, you may say that, for the sake of, then how did he reply? If he replied that to Akhandanandji, that means he is not any bull anymore. The point is the bhavana is still there. Externally, there's some sound is coming and he is hearing and his reply is happening, but the mind is still there. Those who meditate will understand this easily. If you have not done, then you may find it difficult. That's why even when we go into meditation, we go step by step inside and we come out step by step. We will tell also before you come out of meditation, we say now be aware of your breath, then be aware of the body, then be aware of the things happening around you, then pray for the well-being of everybody. And then after the Shanti part is over, Rub your palms, place them on the face, and gently open your eyes. Because from externally we are withdrawn inside and we are contemplating, and the mind is identifying with what one is seeing, what one is visualizing. And the deeper the identification becomes, more those qualities will go inside the person. And suddenly one can't, that's why, come out of that state. Even if for some reason some sound or something has happened and one is out, the mind will still be in that state, and then it takes a little while to come back. Better example to explain that is this, which many people would have experienced. Meditation, not many can understand that if you have not practiced, but this example of sleep, in the sleep when you go to dream, and sometimes suddenly when the horrible dream has come and you wake up with a start, heart is also beating and this, you are sweating and all that. For a moment it takes or not to figure out ki, where am I? Oh, I was in the forest and the tiger was chasing me and I was going to die, and safe. Nothing. I'm on my bed only, it's all nearby. House, only I am there. Chalo. It takes a few seconds to come back to senses. Why? Because the mind is intensely experiencing something and then suddenly it has come out because of whatever, some shock or some sound or whatever. That type of identification is what Bhagavan means here, that when one does this upasana, if the mind is fully identifying with that, Maya Vesha Manoyema, Nitya Yukta Upasate, and every day one is able to do that day by day to worship the form. And Shraddhaya Parayopetaha. Consistently one is doing that with great faith. If my mind has faith in the form, my mind can daily worship the form, my mind is able to absorb itself fully with the form, then I am made for form worship. Meaning, whichever path I take, these three qualities should be there in that path. Initially, I may not have all the three immediately, but the first one is most important. Other two will come after that. Maya Vesha Mano Yemam. Am I able to identify with that formless or with the form? And the simplest thing, now Bhagavan will give some more pointers ahead, but the simplest thing to also understand is this. One person went to Ramana Maharshi and asked, is God with form or formless? And Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi asked a very simple question. Do you have a form? He said yes. Do you believe you are the form? Yes. If you believe you are the form, then God also has form. If you believe you are formless, God is formless. Such a simple answer. If I feel I am this body, I am this form, then Bhagavan has a form. Simple. If I feel no, I am not this body, I am formless truth, then Bhagavan is formless truth. Now, having said this, so that's why I say Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Teme Yukta Tama Mataha. So answer he gave, but he didn't say which is the best one. He says in whichever these three are there, that is the best for that person actually. Even if one moves from form to formless, what three qualities are required in the form worship? Same three qualities required in formless worship. So Bhagavan says that answer is applicable to all. Even if a devotee moves from form to formless, it will apply. Now, form worship, he has explained earlier also. Again, he will explain later on also. Now he takes up this worship of the formless and explains what is that worship of the formless. So third and fourth verse, they are about this Nirgun Nirakar. The pointers of that truth are given in this. ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव Sarvabhuta hite rataha. Actually, pointers are there only in the third shloka. Fourth shloka gives us the qualifications for formless upasana. See, Bhagwan has literally done spoon feeding to us. No ambiguity is left. Though he gave the answer very general way, he didn't say form is better, formless is better, because you can't give that answer. Which is better? It has to be a general answer, because especially the Gita is read by thousands of people. If Bhagwan says no, form only is better, then it will be injustice to those who are formless worshippers. And if Bhagwan says no, only formless, then injustice to thousands who are doing form worship. So he gave the beautiful answer. Now he further elaborates what is the meaning of formless worship. So formless is through the pointers. See, both are upasana, please remember. One is using pointers of the self, other is using form and name, etc. But both are upasanas. In the form, there is more support because name, form, qualities, attributes, all that is there. So the mind has more support. In the formless, support is very less, only the word and the state indicated by that word. In that sense, formless is subtler, there is no doubt. Now, what are the words that can be used? There are hundreds and thousands of them. But a few Bhagwan mentions here. So what are those? Now you see here. Yetu aksharam, that which is imperishable. First we will see literal meaning. Yetu aksharam, anirdeshyam, that which is not definable, avyaktam, unmanifest, paryupasate, those who worship, sarvatragam, which has gone everywhere, meaning which is all pervasive, achintyam, can't be thought of, kutastham is immutable, kutastham, achalam, unmovable, and dhruvam, eternal. Now these are all pointers. Each one is one pointer to connect to consciousness. And where is that consciousness? In my heart as aham, aham, aham. Pure consciousness, we feel I am, I am. Nobody feels I am not. That aham, pure I in my heart, which is throbbing in everyone's heart, that I, aham. And that's why it is everywhere. That aham, pointers are given of that. Now in this, there are two categories of pointers. Now please remember, this formless upasana requires a background. What is that background? Karma Yoga, if one has done, purified the mind. With some upasana, one has made the mind single pointed. One goes to a teacher. One approaches a teacher with the right mindset to know the truth with the fourfold qualifications and listens to the Mahavakya from the teacher, listens about Brahman, about consciousness, which is formless, from the teacher. So Shravan one has to do. Manan one has to do. Reflect, how can I be consciousness? I have been told I am this body. Vedanta is saying you are consciousness. I have told that I am being told that world is real. Vedanta is saying no, world is illusory. How is that possible? So doubts will come. One has to do reflection based on scriptural logic. If this much one has done, gone to a teacher, heard, reflected, cleared the doubts, then one can come to Nididhyasan, which is this formless upasana, where one on one hand rejects what one is not, on the other hand one asserts who I am. Suddenly, if I say, oh, I'm going to worship Nirgun Nirakar Tattva Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, nothing will happen. Only some nice music one will listen and feel, oh, such a nice chanting, gave me so much of peace of mind. I felt so good. After some time, that music one gets used to it, then one will feel sleepy even in that. Because the background has not been built and one is not ready to take off. Gurudev used to say, you will glide into the state of meditation. Are when will one glide? There's not one helicopter, no? Helicopter can go up like that straight and start flying. Aeroplane has to be on the runway and then go fast on the runway, increase the speed, and then slowly the takeoff will happen. This runway has to be built, what the aeroplane has to run on that and then take off. If one has not done that only, how it will work? One has not gone to the teacher, not studied Vedanta properly, did not do the reflection properly, has no intellectual conviction that I am not this body, mind, intellect, then that will not work. So the base has to be built. Formless upasana is nididhyasan. It is not thinking about blank, it is not making the mind thoughtless, it is not staring at some blackness. No, it is contemplating steadily that I am not this Jiva, I am that Brahman. And what is that Brahman? Sachidananda Swarup Atma, which is here, not somewhere out there. That base, if one has built, then in Nididhyasan, these are the pointers to be used. And that's why here there is a withdrawal in the Nididhyasan, there is full withdrawal. In form worship, there is engagement. If one is doing externally, all the senses are engaged. One is seeing the form of Bhagwan, one is doing alankar, one is taking flowers, offering to Bhagwan. So, the sense of sight, one is chanting, so one is hearing the sound, mouth is engaged, hands are engaged, smell is engaged, all the senses are engaged. More easy to do. In this formless worship, one is withdrawn quietly, everything. No external action. One is withdrawing from the senses also, body also, and one is steadily saying, I am not the mind also, I am not this thought also. That's why it is tough, because it's a complete withdrawal. And then steadily do it with those three qualities. And that's why these are beautiful pointers of the self. Yeto aksharam, that which is imperishable. Now, how to know what is imperishable? See, that first pointer itself, no? If one has not studied Vedanta, how will one know there is something called imperishable? Tell me. Impossible. One will not know because whatever one is seeing around, everything is perishable. One will actually question when one comes to Vedanta and the teacher says there is an imperishable truth. One will actually question the teacher if one is a thinking person. Where is imperishable? Everything around me is getting destroyed and perishing, changing. How do you say there is something called imperishable? But the truth is there is imperishable, on the basis of which all this is happening, perishable things. Only when one studies, then one understands, oh, there is one imperishable. Some satsang has to come in one's life, otherwise one will not know this imperishable truth. Externally also there is imperishable truth, which is the cause, which is the substratum of the whole perishing world. Internally also this aham, 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 that will never change. This body, mind, intellect go through all changes. That is perishable. And one body we drop, another body we take, but the Atma, this I, consciousness doesn't go anywhere. That I have to understand. Now, how to arrive at that which is imperishable? So, anything that is perishable, reject. Not this, not this, not this, not this. What will remain is imperishable. Like Gurudev used to give one nice example, that in the earlier day, this phone and all this were not there, So if you go to find somebody, suppose you are told you go into this such and such place, there's a party going on there, and you have to meet Gopal Reddy, and give this envelope to Gopal Reddy. Now, this Gopal Reddy, how to identify? There are hundreds of people there. So he says that you go there, he will be a tall person, about 6 foot in height, will be a person who is wearing white, you know, whatever you call that, pant shirt, will be bald, and will have glasses where the frame will be, let us say, circular. Just some example. Now you go there in that party. So first criteria is he's a 6 footer. So you look around and you reject all those who are not 6 footers. Then you arrive at 5 people who are there. Achha, these 5 people are tall enough. Okay, 6 footer. First criteria done. Second criteria, he will be wearing white and white. Achha, from these 5, 3 of them are wearing white and white. Achha. So the other 2 are rejected. They are not white and white. Then of the 3 people, 2 of them are bald. So that one fellow is rejected now, gone. Now 2 of them are bald. Now who is Gopal Reddy in both of them? This person has circular frame. This last fellow rejected. Now this is Gopal Reddy. So after rejecting everything, what remained? That is Gopal Reddy. I am just saying in a simple way, Gurudev will dramatize it so much. Finally, one has come to that. After rejecting all what it is not, what remains? That is the truth. See, in case of Gopal Reddy, it's very easy because he's a finite person. In this Atma, when we say Atma is infinite, and when we say Aksharam, imperishable. Now, imperishable does not have a form, because anything which has form, name, qualities, attributes is perishable. So how to know what is imperishable? Reject everything that is perishable. World is perishable, outside world is perishable, body is perishable, mind is perishable, thoughts are perishable, ego is perishable, avidya is perishable, everything perishable. What remains? That is Atma. This we are saying, but this is what has to be done in contemplation. Then one will come to that. When one rejects not this, not this, not this, Aksharam. So this is how the Upasana happens. Today we just saw one word, Aksharam. More pointers we will take up in our next class when we do. But this is how formless Upasana happens. Where one has studied, one understands, then when one sits for contemplation, directly one starts, Aham, I am that Aksharam. Not that some Akshara is there, Acha, there is some imperishable truth somewhere. No. I am that infinite consciousness which is imperishable. One meditates on that. Here and now, it is in my heart. So study has happened, reflection has happened, doubts are cleared, and one is sitting quietly and doing Nididhyasana. More pointers we will take up in our next class. But today we will stop here. We thank all our Yajmans. So the Mukhya Yajmans for all the sessions, Kalpana Morparia ji, Parag Wagh, Bharat Khanna ji, Vandana Jagwani ji. Aarti Yajman for all the sessions, Ajay ji, Deepti ji, Hemant ji, Jyotsna ji, Jolly ji, Jayashri ji, Tarana ji, Rashmi ji, Sapna ji, Rajan ji, Shalini ji, Nalini ji, and Vijaya ji Bhatia. Aarti, Dainik Yajman for today, Ranjita Bhatt, Deepika Desai, and Vivek Shroff. And the Gita Aarti Yajman for today, Ravi Shetty, Nirupa Srinivasan ji, and Anuradha Anekal ji. So we invoke Bhagwan's grace, Gurudev's blessings on all the Yajmans, their families, and everyone present here. May Bhagwan bless us with the three qualities of bhakti, and may our mind be absorbed in Bhagwan. May we do our sadhana consistently, and may we have supreme faith. If we have not decided which is our path, form or formless, may Bhagwan help us to decide that and bless us with more and more surrender and oneness with Him. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Krishna. We will do the arati and then we will take up the questions. Mm. बोलिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Yes, Ajay ji.
Hari Om Swamiji, am I audible?
Yes.
Swamiji, wanted to ask you, Bhagwan Krishna, he's got pointers in various places in the Bhagavad Gita, like in chapter 8, verse 9 also, he gives all those pointers. Then in chapter 9 also, when he's giving the royal secret, again he's giving pointers, saying uh, in verse 18, he's giving all those pointers. Here also, he's giving pointers. So the first thing is, like, are they to be understood in the context in which he's saying it in the different chapters? And I mean, just wanted to know, because I think other than this Achintyam, I think he's given all different pointers, because Achintyan is something he's mentioned in verse 9 also. So just wanted to understand the different context that he's giving, and how is it to be understood. And secondly, wanted to ask you, in uh, when I sit to contemplate in the morning, I clearly understand that, I need the form, I need the support. But what happens is, when I'm sitting erect, the moment, like, there's a slight, like a slumping that happens in my form, my mind has got diverted. And uh, essentially, I'm trying to keep it, erect for the 30 minutes that I'm sitting. And is it necessary, like, for somebody like me, if I have to go to the formless, you have to go and be completely steady in the form and then go to the formless? So how do I understand that?
See, the pointers of the self, they remain the same wherever they are given. If the context is pointers of the self as Nirgun Nirakar Tattva, they are the same. They may be given anywhere, as many times different contexts Bhagwan may give to explain, but the tattva is the same, because that what it points out is not changing. No? That's why it is changeless. And
Okay.
so, if we want to understand that particular context, we can understand, but it will still point to the same truth.
Okay.
Whether it is in Sthita Prajna Lakshan, or whether it is here now in 12th chapter, or whether it is 18th chapter or 5th chapter, wherever, if it is pointers of the self, they indicate only one state, which is Sachidanand Swarup Atma.
Okay.
Now, if I am doing my daily meditation using Sthita Prajna, I can use from there. If I am doing it using
Yeah.
here, I can use that. Choices are given to us. That is fine. There is no separate meaning of each.
Okay.
And that is not required. If I want to know different ways to contemplate on the same pointer, yes, that I can also find out from Upanishads, from various other scriptures, even the Gita, and I can use the same pointer to figure out. But ultimately, all those are different ways, but the truth that it is indicating is the same truth, consciousness only. So there is no
Okay.
difference there.
Okay.
Second question, yes, the devotee of the form can definitely gradually graduate into formless. There is no doubt. Ramakrishna went from form to formless, right? It's not that only form is to be stuck to. At one stage, yes, one begins with the form. At some stage, if Bhagwan decides and if the devotee feels that I want to stick to only form, then through the form only Bhagwan will give the knowledge of the formless ultimately. Where is
Okay.
we saw in the 10th chapter, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayantite. I give them the Buddhi Yoga by which they will realize essential oneness with me. So that is will of
Mhm.
the Lord, the Bhakta's temperament also. So one can graduate from form to formless as one progresses and one feels, and that will happen on in a natural way. One doesn't have to do anything.
Okay.
Automatically, one will graduate from form to formless. One's identification will start increasing with the formless. So that continue
Mhm.
whichever upasana where these 3 points are happening, that path
Yeah.
one keep continuing, and when one needs, one will cross over that. Bhagwan will facilitate that happening.
Excellent. Yeah.
If one requires to come from formless to form, also Bhagwan will facilitate that happening. Totapuri Maharaj came from formless to form.
Okay.
That's why we don't have to think which is greater, which is lesser. All that is stupidity, unnecessary thinking, breaking our head. It is the same truth only. Where is the difference? Whether it's form or formless. Only discussion comes when I have to choose based on my temperament. Otherwise, that there is no other value to that discussion, because both are finally the same truth only. And I will realize the ultimate truth whichever way I start.
Yeah. Okay, I
So
got that, because I'd been also thinking, because sometimes I try to sit, like after I finished, in the end, in that silence, forgetting everything and just keeping the mind as steady and quiet. But I don't know how it lasts. And then, you need again a little bit of that support again, because mind again dissipates somewhere where it shouldn't. So I've just been, so yeah, I understood what you said. Thank you.
Balaji.
Swamiji, Hari Om. Just a small doubt. So, Bhagwan talks about Nirgun Nirakar, that is Akshar Avyaktam. Then he talks about Sagun Sakar with form. What about Sagun Nirakar?
That he
Because we have
already covered.
this.
That he already covered in 8th chapter, na Omkar. In,
Okay.
in this context, because Arjun asked Evam Satata Yukta Ye, he is
Hmm.
speaking about form and formless, but formless only covers Sagun Nirakar also actually, because it's Nirakar, not formless. He doesn't elaborate on Omkar here, because the formless Upasana includes Nirgun Nirakar as well as Sagun Nirakar. So all the pointers which we apply for Nirgun Nirakar, you can apply for Sagun Nirakar also. So Om itself is Aksharam, Avyaktam, Anirdesham, Achintyam, all those. Sarvatragam, Kutastham, Achalam, Dhruvam. So you can apply pointers to both. But he already covered Omkar in detail in the 8th chapter. So now the repetition is not happening here.
Okay, Swamiji. Thank you so much.
Sonia ji.
Hari Om Swamiji. I am very new in this field, so please pardon my question if you find this very stupid. But yesterday when I joined, because this we are talking about bhakti. Yesterday I joined the class Bhaja Govindam, and in that class there was a story that Swami Shankaracharya, he tells one of the Pandits that grammar rules are not going to help, but taking the name of Lord is only going to help when the last moment comes. So when I was discussing this with my friends, so they said that taking name of the Lord will help you from what? As it is the last moment of your life. So it is going to help you from which thing? And then they were asking me some questions that prayer, are you praying to some external entity or something that is inside you? And if is that prayer going to correct your karmas, or if you believe in the law of karma, then how can your karmas get corrected if you are doing prayer? So what is the use of doing prayer? But I don't want to go 10 steps behind when I have already taken a step ahead. So I was very confused since yesterday.
Gurudev's commentary on Bhajagovindam, if you read, you will get some more clarity about whom are you worshipping, etc. And as you said, you are new, so do take your time. No doubt in asking questions and inquiring, because that's a good thing. See, when we are saying Bhajagovindam will protect, what do I need protection from? At the time of death, there is fear. I don't want to leave the body. There is pain. There is the separation that is going to happen with people, with the things I've accumulated. There is delusion. I don't know what is going to happen next. Is that a very comfortable situation? And if somebody says, no, I will pass away in sleep, I don't need any protection. Okay, don't seek protection, no problem. What is the guarantee you will pass away in sleep? There's no guarantee of how one is going to die. Point one. Point two, I need protection only when there is some fear. If somebody says, I have no fear, I will just die, okay, don't seek protection. There's no compulsion. But the point here is this, Shankaracharya is saying that it is not only at the time of death, which is physical death. Samprapte sannihite kale, death is not only death of the physical body, death is happening every minute. So many cells are dying in the body, and change is death in Vedanta. Does human mind not resist change? We need some changeless factor to hold on to. Govinda is that changeless factor. And that changeless factor is in our own heart as well as outside. So first of all, if somebody does a division, is it inside you or outside you? Why are you limiting that infinity which is infinite? Think about that. Infinity means everywhere, inside, outside, everywhere. If somebody says it's only inside you, then you are limiting infinity. If you say no, it is only outside, external, again you are limiting infinity. If you read commentary of Gurudev, four meanings of bhaja, what he has given, in that very clearly he said that is based on Shankaracharya's commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam, where Govinda is explained in four ways. That which is the substratum of the whole earth and the creation, that consciousness, that Lord of our senses, he is a Gopalaka. Govinda means go means cow, and Vinda is the one who takes these cows and goes out in the forest and brings them back in the evenings. That is Krishna as a form. And consciousness, that Krishna is only consciousness who is enlivening these senses, which are the cows which go out and graze in the world and they again come back in the evening. Who makes the senses function? Who makes the speech function? Who is known through the Vedic knowledge? That consciousness which is in me, outside me, that is Govinda. That is changeless. And if I know that changeless truth, and that is my true nature, this body, mind, intellect which is changing does not affect me. I am freed from that ignorance and I am freed from all fears. And this prayer, that's why, is not a prayer to some Govinda, to, Are bachao mujhe, and then I will feel like a limited entity. No. As a jiva, I am limited, but as infinite consciousness, I am one with that truth. So when one surrenders to the Lord with a form, one realizes oneness. Prayer has a lot of power. Prayer can make me realize oneness, highest oneness. If I don't understand that absolute truth, prayer can make me realize at least that there is a Supreme Lord who is the creator of this universe, and I am worshipping that Lord, praying to that Lord to bless me with more and more strength, capabilities, bless me with fulfillment of desires, help me to get spiritual knowledge, remove my negativity, all that. And what is wrong in praying to any entity outside? Think about it. Are we not worshipping other people? Hero worship people do or not? They put the pictures of film stars and cricket stars and all that. Hero worship. Oh, he's my idol. Indian Idol and all that they have na music ke liye. When we are worshipping ordinary mortal people for petty little achievements, if I am worshipping Supreme Bhagwan, what is wrong in that? Unnecessary people create all this kind of confusion in the mind because they have no idea of God, and they think that, oh, prayer is some begging and God is not even existing, and there is no entity called Krishna and Rama, and you are praying to somebody who is imaginary. This is all, they are parroting what they have heard from people and they have not used their brains to think. So then they feel, why should I pray to somebody outside? If you are questioning and inquiring, very good, nice inquiry. Find out who are you worshipping, no problem. But if you are parroting and then discouraging somebody, then that is not right. That is ignorance only. So one doesn't have to fall for that. And as far as karma is concerned, of course, every action has a result. Yesterday's karma I am facing today. today's karma I will face tomorrow. Some karma I will face immediate also, but some karmas I face after some time. The result comes after some time. Every karma doesn't give result immediately, right? So if you believe in law of cause and effect, every effect has a cause. So if today I am facing something, is yesterday's karma. And by doing karma today, I can change my tomorrow. Because karma is the cause, result is the effect. And as a human being, especially, we have freedom, no? We have free will. So I can choose. Every second I can choose what I can do. And that will create my future. Some very powerful karmas by my choice today I can't change, because those are results of my yesterday's karma. But through prayer I can. Markandeya was supposed to die at 16 years, but he got the boon of immortality or not. So many examples like that you will see, where very prabal karma also of a person with Bhagwan's kripa, when they do that much purushartha, prayer, etc., they invoke, it will change. So prayer has a lot of power, and my present prayer can also be to help me to deal with the past. If I am surrendered to Bhagwan, whatever comes, positive, negative, I say Bhagwan's prasad, I will accept equanimously. Has that not given me strength? And that Bhagwan, again I am saying, is in my heart, is antaryami as well as outside. There is nothing wrong in worshipping Bhagwan outside in a form. And also understand that Bhagwan is with me in my heart. He is the one who is making the senses function. He is the one who makes the mind feel, intellect think. That Supreme Lord is everywhere. God is nowhere, is the thinking of the ignorant. God is now here, is the thinking of the wise. It's only a perception difference. Knowledge is giving me that clarity. God is now here in my heart as well as outside, both. And my prayer is to tune up with that Lord within me and be one with that Lord, as well as to see that same Lord outside and serve Bhagwan. And of course, if I want anything, I will go to my creator or not. Even if I don't realize absolute oneness, I say, God is the creator, I am the creature. Then God is like a father, mother. I am the child. Will a child not go to the father, mother? Ask, I want this, I want that. And if the trouble is there, one goes to again parents saying, please help me to remove this trouble. So Bhakta also goes to remove the problem. Bhakta also goes to fulfill desire. Bhakta goes to gain knowledge. Bhakta goes to realize oneness. So as you go deeper, you will understand more. Let the questions come. But as you said, last thing was very important. Don't backstep. Don't allow people's immaturity or ignorance to affect your faith or your resolve to walk this path. Keep asking questions, gain the knowledge, gain the clarity, and then share that with them also, so they will also benefit. And that's how we transform ourselves and share that and help others. More questions you have, you can ask. Yesterday, I think, maybe which class, I don't know, whoever is your sevak, you joined that whichever class, there you ask them more questions and read Gurudev's commentary on Bhaj Govindam. You will get more clarity. Yes, Leena ji.
Pranam, Swamiji. And I'm having some confusion. In the past also, I have been listening to your satsangs and it gives me a lot of strength and a better understanding, but a little confusion. And I hope I'm not sounding very foolish. The question is that we are supposed to, suppose in the morning, I'm doing my chapamala. I put that. So, like I do sometimes Om Gam Ganpataya Namaha. Sometimes I say Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sometimes I say Om Namah Shiva. Is it wrong to change every day? Or should you, because today what you said is you should keep on, praying to one Lord. But aren't they all the same? So what am I doing? Am I doing something incorrect?
See, the Siddhanta of Upasana we explained, that we should do Upasana to gain single pointedness of the mind. Bhagwan may be the same, but as far as the mind is concerned, does the mind see everybody in the same way or differently?
The form is different.
Exactly. Form is different, name is different, mantra, alphabets are different, qualities are different, all that is different.
Right.
Now, if I am chanting every day a different mantra, how is the mind going to get abidance in one?
Okay.
Single pointedness doesn't come easily like that. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to give a nice example for that. He said, if you dig 10 feet in 10 places, you will not get water. You hit 100 feet in one place, you will find water. Every great master you see would have chosen one form, one name, and done the sadhana.
One more question was there in this.
So we should choose one, and that is important. So what you are doing is not wrong, but you have to move from that to the next step.
Okay.
From many, you have to come to one form, one name, and then go deep into that only. And doesn't mean I don't respect any other forms. I respect all of them, but for me, this is my Ishta and this is the mantra I have chosen. This is the form I have chosen. I am fully absorbed in that. Then the mind will see oneness very fast. Otherwise, the mind will keep on shifting every day. And whatever you need from every other form, if you really understand that God is only one, then whichever form you are worshipping, they will bless you with that or not.
Right.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But sir, one more question. That so after doing that, then I say my Vishnu Sahasranam in the morning when I do the lamp, and in the evening I say my Kashtapanjan Devata, that is Hanumanji's one small arti, and then I do Hanuman Chalisa. So that is also okay, no? Apart from that, because that is one is Vishnu Sahasranam, then again there is Hanuman. But I get a lot of, like a mental peace when I keep on praying to Hanumanji. So I'm still confused, sir. What do I do, Swamiji?
You can continue that if you like, and that gives you peace. There's nothing, we don't want to disturb that. And pray to Bhagavan, saying ki if I'm supposed to worship one form, you reveal which is the form that I'm supposed to worship.
Okay.
And if the answer comes to you, then you stick to that form.
Okay.
Then leave everything else in the daily sadhana. Because suppose you have morning, evening, suppose 20 minutes you are spending.
Yes.
40 minutes if you spend in worship of, let us say, Ishta Devata Hanumanji, just for example.
Yes.
Then 40 minutes worshipping Hanumanji, the mind will become more absorbed than doing everything else plus Vishnu Sahasranam in the morning, then in the evening Hanumanji, and then something else. Then the time for Hanumanji is very less, no?
Right.
But morning, evening, if you are worshipping one, then your mind will go much deeper, much quieter, much easier to identify. So you decide it. It is up to you. If you feel this is giving you peace, no problem, continue. At some point, if you feel that, I need to stick to one so that I go more deeper,
Right.
then pray to Bhagavan and choose one Ishta and continue.
Correct. Yes. I'm getting more clarity. Thank you. Pranam. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, everyone. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.